Welcome to the farm. My name is Glover, and I'm a man. And you better remember it, because it's important for what comes later. Anyhow, this is a special farm, a human fertility farm. No, we don't grow anything from the soil. I guess it's a metaphorical farm. Listen, don't get caught up here at the beginning. We do experiments on the farm, but on ourselves. That's how we get to do so much. No one has to sign off. We're doing it to our own bodies. The FDA can't do shit, because that'd be like banning people from cutting their own hair. Don't tread on me. Yeah, we love freedom. A cult farm science lab with some autonomy. Now that's more like it. We get all sorts of tots born here, and it gets pretty competitive. Everyone wants the best tot. Nothing impresses the fellas like a farm fresh tot. Sometimes it doesn't work out though. Take Cindy for example. She gave birth to a bunch of rocks. Nobody laughed or anything. The cult raises all sorts of tots. Drippy tots, pinhead tots, meth tots, and gene splice uh-ohs. No one knew what made rocks, but we love them just the same. So don't yuck about it. It's real. Anyhow, when they decided to get a man pregnant, I was like, finally. I raised my hand, wrote down my name, sent a couple letters. I wanted it. I've always been jealous of wombs and women for having them. Plus, I secretly suspected men could dominate women in this field. Competition makes everything better, and the ladies had it easy for too long. Sorry, sister, but it's time a man gave birth. So they put me on a bunch of vitamins. They being all the lead scientists and elders and priests and witch women and a couple of midwives, and technically me. It has to be your experiment too, Regina was always saying. And I was like, okay, Jesus! It's one of those rules, and boy, if you like that, they got a whole book of others. Everyone has to have their own experiment, especially if you're the subject. Their experiment was rubbing me with lotions and feeding me special diets and giving me lots of shots and lots of pills. My experiment was flushing all those pills down the compost toilet. See you later, I said. Adios, muchacho. The next part hurt, so I'll tell you all about it. I came in for an appointment all like, hey, what's up? But they didn't answer because they all had surgical masks on and the room was really bright and everything was metal. So I'm like, okay. Then Regina came over and was all like, take a seat. And I was all, sure, whatever. And they took off my shirt and rubbed me up with lotions and gave me some goofy drugs. So I was like, all right. But get this. Then they took one of those vacuum suction metal stab straws they use for liposuction, right? Uh-oh. And they stabbed me. They stabbed me in the belly. And I was like, what the fuck? Buy a guy a drink first. Lol. Yeah, so I guess they hollowed out my big old belly real nice. They said my hefty gut was why I was an ideal candidate, thanks to years of excessive drinking. And I said, I don't care, Regina. Everyone was so fucking chatty I could barely hear myself speaking. 8 hours later, and I was as hollow as a jelly donut pre-filling. And then they jellied me right up. Yep, didn't even need a separate session. No waiting, no sex, and no penises beside my healthy little guy. His name's Shredder, like a guitar player. They said because they didn't know how it would work, they were going to take a shotgun approach to egg implantation. I got afraid and asked, you mean with a shotgun? And they laughed at me, but that wasn't funny. I'll tell you what, I almost jumped out of that room right then because unlike some people, I think motherhood is serious business. Sorry to diss you, Regina, but that's just the way I feel. So they stuck a tube in me and plop, 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 filled me up with like a dozen eggs. They said I was the genetic father, which was why they harvested all my sperm earlier. But I was too busy coming up with names to care. Name number 1, Jim Henson Sr. Yeah, fuck you. I was kinda a celebrity in the cult for a little while. And I was all, this is easy. But then it came. The first uh-oh. Fetuses, it turns out, crave beer fat. Not a single one of them smarty know-a-lots predicted the way my beer placenta would plump my tots' umbilicals, comfort their nervous little cells like a mama bird's hot ass. Out of the 18 eggs, every single one implanted, you betcha. And in a week, I was already showing a bump, though full of only blastocysts. Blastocysts are like little tots, but little. Like a soccer ball of cells with a proto-mouth and a proto-asshole. Just up and down, no front and back. The team got scared because they hadn't thought the procedure would work, let alone so damn well. Well, that's what you get for underestimating a man. Never doubt a man. A man can do anything he sets his mind to, and I focused hard. You see, I'm pregnant with 18 babies? Well, you're fucking right I am. Woo! I started swelling up, and all the doctors and midwives and sorcerers and splicers and plumbers only made me do more bullshit. And that's what I called it. Bullshit, I said, tugging out IVs. Bullshit, as I shat out every suppository. Motherfucking grade A medicinal bullshit, as I skipped appointments because I was sleepy. Well, a month passed, and I was a big old blueberry boy like in the movie with the children who died for the candy, and they rolled me around. It didn't hurt the babies inside me, 18 by the way, because they said I protected them with warm, safety-grade cholesterol. Was I proud? You bet I was. I was a pregnant man, proving all my haters wrong not once, not twice, but 18 times. Don't ever doubt a man. I had to say it again. Don't ever doubt a man. So that's the way it went for a little while, until one day Regina said, "So, how's your experiment going?" And I said, "Excuse me?" Well, it turned out I was supposed to be keeping notes and testing variables and on and blah, blah, blah. You can't see it because this is audio, but I'm pretending to jack off right now. "No, Regina," I told her, "I didn't keep your precious little notes." Jesus, Regina, my experiment, unlike some people's, is already done. And it worked, Regina. And then she got all fucking mad. "You didn't tell me. You never said a thing. What did you do?" I said I dumped all her dumb little pills down the shitter. 'Cause I'm a man, and I do what I want. You get me? If I'm the only man in a room, I'm the king of that room. Sorry, other ladies in the women's room. Now it's the king's room. It's in the Bible, probably, so don't fucking ask me. Anyway, she got super pale. I laughed at her because she looked ridiculous. But she was all like, no, that's super bad, and how could you do that, and you might die. But she wasn't listening. I'm King Glover, honey, and ain't no pills gonna take me away from my babies. Anyhow, I started throwing up a lot, and one day I pooped out a little bit of bone, whatever. So they had me in the intensive care maternity clinic with the other uh-ohs and whoopsies. Saw a lady with a violet belly because she was full of half-dog babies. Saw a couple ladies on the love seat with like a conjoined womb, if that's even a thing. Then I saw a lady. You know, they were all ladies. Anyhow, she was pregnant on her back instead of her front. And she was laying on the floor, and that's gross because it's the floor. It was a real bummer. So I pumped them up. "Y'all don't even know about babies," I told them. Some little girls were there with their mommies, and I told them, "Hey, honey, don't even try to get babies, because this man is more pregnant than you'll ever be." Some moms had like 6 or 7 in their sloppy brood and were like, "What is it, triplets?" Fuck you. I got 18 in this bitch. You act like you're better than me? You squat out your load for a decade? I'm doing one big birth like a pro. One bomb, thank you, Mom. After I said that, all the girls got worried. Oh, 18? Oh, that's not good, and other bullshit. I know jealousy when I see it, and I saw it fucking everywhere. People started talking like, wait till he gives birth, he'll get his then, and all that. Some girls have hard births, and you know why? Because they're just skating by. They never had to care about giving birth because evolution made it so only they could give birth, which is really the ultimate sexism if you think about it. Well, guess what? Now your prissy wombs are in trouble because a man has given birth. And the whole fucking world is going to change, or my name isn't Grover. Or, Jesus, Glover. My name is Glover. I was in pain a lot, and I kept losing more bones. But I got my very own room because they had to put 2 beds together to support my impressive pregnant diameter. Regina let me put up some posters, even the one with the chicks kissing. Fuck yeah. Which, I gotta admit, was pretty dope of her. I had more time alone, agonizing, so I came up with a bunch of names just like fucking right off. I was like, Rubber Scout, Gruntster, Trims would be a good name, Scallops, Grimpy Wimpy, and Hubby Tug Time. And I didn't just come up with names. Fuck you. I was gonna give Tots whole fucking phrases too. Like, his very special reckoner. Greek Supper Club. Storms are racist. Welcome to Granite City Restaurant. The Eternal Coward. Then for the rest, because I was tired, I settled on a variety of subtle pre-language grunts and screams like umph, grunk, whoa, ag, blah. And finally, Jim Henson Sr., yeah, like I'd said before, fuck you. Anyhow, since I had no giner, when 9 months passed and still no babies popped out, they ended up cracking my belly button open and taking a look inside. Well, shit. In my big old belly, purple and stretch marked, all them babies saw the light and started tunneling. Yeah, they were just waiting around for the call, because unlike a lady, a man's womb is as comfortable as a 4-door sedan. The babies started digging at my fat like wasp larvae laid in a gerbil's skull. I screamed at first, but then the oxytocin flowed, and you know what? I enjoyed their internal nibbles like a mother enduring a milk-thirsty tot's forceful gumming. Then the doctors and Regina fucking most of all started screaming, and it was way too loud, so I said, cool your jets, sister! This was my birth, and I was becoming a mother, and I demanded a special day! I guess the reason she screamed was because my belly was actually a super environment for babies. As we all know now, a man's body, superior, can grow a fetus like a fucking zucchini. But it's not like anyone knew that then. So these kids were in their 9 months, but they were already 4 years old. They had fingernails and nasty teeth, and the dexterity to rip out my belly, and probably spell their own names when they peed, the boys anyway. Well, they for real tunneled out of me like gophers destroying a putting green, and I started screaming, ooh, lo, 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 and torn literally between horror and fucking having a blast. Them babes all popped out, and goddamn if I didn't blow up like a ship balloon popped with a sniper's armor fucking bullet. Yeah, I died! Unless you ever heard of anyone surviving being fucking exploded. But all of them tots lived. They could walk right away, and most of them got jobs. They multiplied our cult by a healthy class entire, and in 4 more years they were taking seats in our national government, each tied for the youngest representative our democracy had ever known. Anyhow, these tots, Greek Supper Club the best among them, banned women from birth after that. The fucking 28th Amendment or something. Yeah, we left the good stuff to the men after that. And that's when everything got crazy. Yep, ladies learned to jizz, and the whole natural order went backwards. It turns out, like the magnetic poles and the sexual attractions of birds, every 50 years or so, they just flip-flop like John fucking Kerry. Bush 2004! So hold on to your pecker and keep a mirror on that giner. Because if you don't pay attention, it'll turn outsides, insides on you faster than you can say hubby tug time. Glover, out! The story must be